It's 12:48 in the morning, and I'm up thinking about fasting, and I'm thinking about what's my purpose in this fasting? Where is it taking me? And I was watching a sun-kissed keto video tonight called Snake Diet, Body Positivity, Fat Acceptance, and More. Meet Julie, the fasting pharmacist. And I'm listening to Michelle and Julie talk. And they were talking about fasting burnout. And I was thinking, there have been times when I've been burnt out on fasting. But you have to keep doing what you're doing to keep getting better at what you're doing. But if what you're doing doesn't seem to have any purpose to it, then you're going to get bored with what you're doing and you're going to give it up. And that's what we don't want to do. We don't want to give this up. But you have to think, well, how long does it have to go on? You don't have to do anything you don't want to do. But why'd you get into it? Now, I got into it for the reason of health. I also got into it for reasons of vanity. But for the most part, I got into it because I feared a horrific death. I feared and didn't want to die an obese individual. I didn't want to finish my life out on this planet being something that I wasn't supposed to be, which was incredibly fat. And I thought, well, how do I get in this mess and how do I get out of it? Well, here's what this video is about. It's about conditioning. You've been conditioned in a lot of ways. In this context, let's talk about the very, very fat person who, like in the video that I watched tonight from Sun-Kissed Keto, there was a lot of talk about food as love and good times and good memories and habitually ingesting mass amounts of calorie dense, very not nutritious food, and having the food be almost, the only thing you have in common between you and a lover, or you and a family member, or you and your life. Alcoholics drink to cover up pain. They also drink because they want to be happy. Very, very obese people eat because they want to be happy. They eat to cover up a lot of emotional pain. But we didn't start off, the vast majority of us, with a life that was just horrifically bad. Some human beings, unfortunately, start off in a life that is just, it's a crime. And I deeply regret that about the human condition, and it shouldn't be that way. But let's talk about conditioning, and I'll use myself. We'll talk about conditioning in a context as it relates to me is my earliest memories of what a party was. A party for me was, as a little kid, was food, pop, pizza, candy bars, a bag of some assorted candies, and free will to just eat and gorge and drink and sugar it up and just eat liberally, freely, without an adult telling me to that I had to stop. I remember going to parties in preschool where everybody was showing up with presents, and there was a big table, a big spread of food, and then there was the main meal, and then there was cake afterwards, and ice cream, and more cookies, and cakes, and pies, and then, you know, at school we had pizza and pop on Fridays, and then, you know, you had Halloween, you have the holidays, and you get rewarded by adults for doing well in something. You get candy. And there was no limits to this sort of conditioning because it's not drugs. You don't beat people because you eat too much candy, like if you're an alcoholic and you become physically or verbally abusive to someone. You don't eat 10 Snickers bars and go crash a car. You don't lose your job because you ate a bag of candy corn. So when does this conditioning end? It only ends when you say it ends, when you can see the negativity in it. When you can see that it's taking your life down a road that maybe you're getting sick of. So when you talk about, well, when does all this fasting have to end? Well, why would you want it to end? When it's reconditioning you. Why would you want the reconditioning to end? It's kind of like it's kind of in a way it's kind of like torture. You know, you fast for a long time and then you go, oh man, when is it going to end? But then it feels good again and you keep fasting. And what you're doing is you're chipping off, you're breaking that old conditioning off, you're breaking it apart, and you're getting rid of it. Now, I'm in a much better state of new conditioning. I'm in a much better state of being locked into my new conditioning. But please, I want to make it very, very clear that I am not conditioned 10 years into this. I'm barely 1 year and 4 months into my new mindset, my newly conditioned mindset. And yes, I want to go and screw off sometimes and go eat a whole pizza and go hit the drive-thru at 2 o'clock in the morning. There's a Sliders restaurant right down the road that's been out here for 120 years that makes the best sliders and fish sandwiches and you know you could ever have. And it's not expensive. And you can go there and you could take a $20 bill and you could do some damage, right? But you can also do some damage. And I'm not talking about just to your physical state, to your mindset. But I haven't been perfect. Nope. I've screwed up. Many, many, many times. I've said it in many videos. But I'm connected to something deep. Let's reflect about this burnout, you know. And I'm going to leave you with this. I was talking with a person I used to coach, and we talked about fasting burnout tonight. Now, after watching the Sun-Kissed Keto video tonight, I think the goal should not be to be a thin person and this idea of what a thin person is supposed to be. But it's more so what we won't be what is not acceptable anymore. Until the person that used to be a destructive eater of all that is nutritionally unsound becomes something unnatural to the new person. Unacceptable. We become a version that is just that just is set in a new way. That we don't think about our efforts as something that we will be able to shuck off and finally be free of, because we got on this road to be free of an old skin that was tormenting us in the physical and the metaphysical and the emotional. We had had enough. It's not a matter of how long do I have to be like this fasting focused person. It's more like, okay, every day that I get better is another successful day of reconditioning my mind and lifestyle into a strong-willed model of liberation for those who wish to follow in the same path. We have to be careful to maintain this for others before ourselves. Many times I've said it and I'll say it again. If I didn't have people watching and commenting and giving me support and helping me reflect, I would not have met the people that I have met, and I would not be where I am today in my new conditioning. And I really, really do not want to exchange this lifestyle for any of the old one, outside of the occasional deliberate step off the wagon to free my mind of the absolute strictness that I have come to respect and accept as the new me. I love you all. Please find your purpose. Make that deep connection and let that deep connection serve others. See you guys in the next video. Thank you, Sunkissed Keto. Thank you, Julie. You fasting, focused pharmacist, you. Thank you guys. Be well. And I'll talk to everybody a little bit later. Bye.